So we finally made it to episode 44 of the podcast. And um, this episode is really interesting to me because we've had a lot of good discussion around AI. It's been such a mind, an interesting concept to wrap our minds around, excuse me. So we've learned about how it can empower us, but then we've also heard a lot of things about how it's going to harm us in a lot of ways. I recently just heard another podcast interview about how, someone wouldn't even be interested, how this guy from Google X wouldn't even be interested in having kids in this day and age because of the impact that it's going to have. And it's something that I think a lot about. But this podcast interview actually gave me a lot of insight from someone who um, has a lot of industry experience, and he gave a lot of good perspective about how to actually leverage AI and use it to our benefit. So with that being said, I introduce you to Manuj. This was a very insightful podcast episode. And since recording the episode, I've actually applied a lot of the tips and strategies in here, and I've been able to save money, save time, improve my processes. And my interaction with AI has been a lot different and a lot better. So I hope the same thing for you. So without further ado, I introduce you to episode 44 of the Mental Money Podcast. Hi, you're listening to the Mental Money Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. Today we have with us Manuj, who is the owner of Manuj.ca, and he's going to be telling us how to implement AI in our businesses today. Manuj, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Actually, Manuj.ca is my connection website. My company name is Petronodal Technologies, but I'm so happy to be here, excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So AI. We're in the future. We're here. There's almost 50 to 100 new technologies popping up every week. And I feel like that's a conservative number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to us about and this is going to be a very open-ended, candid conversation. Let's talk about, let's backtrack. We're going to backtrack a little bit. We're going to take all the way back. Okay. Our audience is primarily novice entrepreneurs, right? They're women who are trying to navigate this entrepreneurial world, and our podcast serves as a way to support those endeavors. Okay. Now, I ask questions not to be remedial, but I would like them to be answered from a conceptual point of view, right? So when we're looking at AI in terms of business, what should we understand AI as?
Sure. See, the first thing is at a fundamental level, what AI is a technology that can help us recognize very fine-grained patterns in our environment, which are not um, we cannot perceive them with our mind. What do I mean by that? So let's say you take a 10-year-old child, and that child touches a hot stove.
Right.
It only takes one instant to for that child to understand you should not touch the hot stove because it will hurt you. So that's one data point going into our mind and the mind learning. But
Right.
now let's put that child in the middle of Antarctica. He's wearing heat resistant gloves. It's really
Yeah.
really cold out there, and now he touches the hot stove. It actually feels pleasant. It doesn't
Mhm.
hurt him, and so now the mind picks up multiple data points and says, okay, there is a new situation here where if these conditions are true, then I can touch the hot stove. Now
Yeah.
even the most intelligent person can deal with maybe 10, 15 such variables. But if we want to work on more complex problems like, how do I grow my business, how do I find cure for cancer, how do I fix global warming, whatever that is, it takes thousands or millions of parameters to figure out some solution for that. In
Yeah.
that sense, our mind is very limited. So with
Mhm.
AI, what AI can do, it can ingest millions and millions of data points and find fine grained patterns in that data and tell us, okay, this is exactly what is going on, right? So the idea is to understand this technology as an extension of our human mind, but capable of discerning much more out of the environment and learning what is actually going on, right? So
Right.
that is what AI is. And yeah, I hope that answers the question, and
No,
we
it
can
does.
go deeper into this.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dare I ask about sentient beings? Because there's like this big conversation now about, and this doesn't really have too much to do with AI, but they're kind of scared that AI is kind of evolving too quickly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because of that, they're afraid of it becoming sentient, and maybe it recognizes too many patterns and it's
Mhm,
collecting too much information, and
mhm.
therefore it becomes so intelligent that it maybe starts manipulating us as humans because we don't have as much capacity, we don't
Sure,
have as
sure.
much. So from that sense, like, how should we, when we're processing the information that, like, for example, let's just use ChatGPT as an example, right? Because it's the most
Yeah, yeah.
relevant now. When we are processing information from ChatGPT, I find that it's helping me, especially, augment a lot of the information and knowledge that I already have rather quickly. However, I know that it's inherently flawed because even though I'm using it, it's still processing information that was given to it. But let's say it were to become sentient, how am I ingesting this information now with a grain of salt so that I'm still aware of like the margin of error that chat gpt can shoot out, and then still being able to use it in a way that's functional for my business?
Sure, sure. A great question. I'll answer it in several parts. First, the question about AI becoming sentient. You know, I have a background in technology, and apart from that, I have deep understanding of the human mind. I actually meditate. I've been meditating for the last 13 years, and I learn. I read about neuroscience and human psychology and all that. The thing is that the point that people bring up about AI becoming sentient is basically an idea planted in their head by Hollywood, by movies like Terminator. But
Yeah.
anyway, I talk to people and I say, okay, there are 8 billion people on this planet. We don't realize that no more than 0.001% of the people are sentient, meaning they are self-aware. They are in tune with their own traumas, their own emotional baggage and things like that, let alone a technology that we build. So when we think about uh, these concepts that AI will take over humanity or something along those lines, these kind of negative actions are not a result of intelligence. It's a result of a negative trauma or negative emotion that we feel as humans. So things like
Mm,
jealousy and ambition and like cruelty, or these are the things that are ingrained in us, that come out in a very convoluted way where we want to harm other people. But
yeah.
even if I were to say that is something possible, somebody will have to have such deep knowledge of human psychology and how the mind and everything works, that we need to create an algorithm which will plant jealousy and
Mm, mm,
cruelty and these kind of negative emotions inside an AI, and now say, okay, now you can act on my behalf to overcome humanity or something along those lines.
yeah.
I don't believe, even if there was a way to do that, I don't believe a person with so much negative sort of, foresight will have the ability to overcome their own shortcomings and teach this AI how to become that type of person.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so so that's one. So that hopefully that answers that question. The second thing, the next thing is about how can we trust AI. See, once again, AI is nothing else but an extension of human consciousness. Okay.
Mm,
So just like we cannot 100% trust everybody on this planet, we ourselves make things up all day long.
Yeah.
you know. So when we are having a conversation with somebody, when we don't know a topic, we generally fill in the gap and say, oh, I think it's that way, right?
Hmm.
AI is doing exactly the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So when we start to think about AI as a true extension of our mind, that's when things start to sort of align for us. And now
Hmm.
we can say, okay, for inconsequential things, like if I am writing a letter to a friend, I'm writing a social media post, I'm doing something inconsequential, I can trust AI. But if I'm using AI to write a patent, I'm writing an application for my college entrance, I'm doing something more meaningful, or something with high
High
stakes,
school.
then
Yeah.
it is up to me to double check the facts and make sure that AI is going to help me save my time. But then I need to make sure that I do my due diligence and not trust AI blindly, and then
Hmm.
take the next action. I hope that answers the question.
It does, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, and I'm gonna make larger points later on down the line to the people listening because I've been trying to say that, and people, I feel like people think I'm trying to. So I teach. Let me just give you context. I teach about how to write grants for businesses, right? But proposals, like more like business proposals. And a lot of people will ask questions about like, oh, I'll just use ChatGPT. And I'm like, you can do that. Absolutely. I encourage it. And for to save some costs, I absolutely think they should. And I think that they think when I not I do encourage it, but when I do discourage it in some regards, like for example, like some financial projections or like some like certain pieces of data, um, they think I'm saying that because they want me to like they want I don't care who you get the information from, but it's not foolproof and the stakes are too high to trust just chat gpt to give you that information. So that's essentially why I'm definitely going to write off on that point to use it wisely, and if the
Yeah.
stakes are high, definitely be mindful. But to your earlier point, it sounds like as far as like the sentient piece that we're all like technically afraid of or people seem to be afraid of, it seems like we're just projecting our own
Mhm.
fears onto this
Exactly.
piece,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That actually gives a lot of context. Like that's true. I mean, everybody doesn't really know themselves even well enough, but yet alone, the AI is going to be the one to destroy humankind, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've done a pretty good job doing it ourselves. Anyway, anywho, all right. So, as far as business is concerned, how should we be using AI to really maximize our profits, maximize our business? Okay, matter of fact, let me backtrack a little bit. I've been on Twitter digesting all of this AI information, and I'm watching people like create coins, like cryptocurrencies. I'm watching people like make millions of dollars off of this. And then these are quick turnovers. Like this is not like a sustainable, profitable model. But how can someone integrate this to create more of a sustainable business model with a good revenue model and like something sustainable?
Sure, sure, sure. See, again, I'll answer it in multiple parts. One thing is that any business owner, they have the idea, and as we know, the business will do really well if you have a really good teams helping you, surrounding you, and showing you the way. Because as business owners, we can only be good at a few things. The rest we sort of we try to figure out, because that's the part of doing business. But now
Right.
let's say I come to you and I say, okay, Natalie, you are running this business. Here is an employee that I have got. He or she has a degree in medicine, has a degree in law, has a degree in business, has a degree in history, anthropology, what have you. Name a topic, and this
Hmm.
person knows it. And by the
Yeah.
way, this person is available to you 24/7, never takes a break. What will you be doing with this person as your assistant in your company, right?
Yeah.
You can ask a strategic question and say, hey, how do I market my product or service? What are the pain points of the people who are not already my clients? What kind of tactical things I can do today to
Mhm.
attract clients? How do I communicate with them? Give me some ideas which are counter to my point of view, because a lot of people drink their own Kool-Aid, and
Yeah.
until they actually meet somebody honest and knowledgeable, they don't know their idea is not good. So you can go
Yeah.
to AI and say, hey, point holes in my understanding. What are my blind spots? Right? So
Mm,
you can think of this as a super intelligent a human being or an employee who is ready to answer any of your questions. So
mm.
what can you do?
If you're looking for a way to fund your future, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. And I need you to grab your spot on the wait list for the 6 figure funding formula training. Now, here's the deal, right? I'm going to grab 20 participants and I'm going to walk them hand in hand. I'm going to show them exactly how to grab their proposal, their pitch deck, their business plan. And you are going to personally get all of the assets that you need to be able to walk through the grant process seamlessly. So if that's what you want, you need to go ahead and grab your spot because the people on the wait list are going to hear about it first. All right. So if you're ready to join cohort 1 and you're ready to walk through this grant process seamlessly, then you go ahead, grab your spot on the wait list, and I'll see you in cohort 1.
You can start by, first of all, overcoming your fear. So start by creating an account with ChatGPT, and then do two things. One, start asking better questions,
Yeah.
because every entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, everything starts with a question: can I do this? How will it be done? What is the process to do this? And you have all these questions rotating like stories in your head. You can use that chat gpt to ask that same question, and the
Mm,
answers will you'll get. Initially you may not be as good at asking questions, because asking questions is also a very good skill that you need to develop. But
yeah.
when you use chat gpt as your sounding board, you will notice, as you just said, that it gives you information, it expands your mind, it
Hmm.
helps you to become better at asking better questions. That's
Yeah.
number one. Second thing, you should try and use ChatGPT to become better storytellers. Because when you are answering somebody's question, if you just use facts and figures, and I can understand this coming from a financial domain,
Yeah.
most of us, we cannot remember facts and figures,
Yeah.
and it goes over our head. But if I use a story to share the same facts and figures, it will actually stick in our mind. And the reason is because of the way we evolved. People don't realize that writing was only invented about 6 to 7 thousand years ago, and
Mm,
humans have been on this planet for at least 200,000 years. So before writing was invented, all the information used to be passed on from generation to generation through
yeah.
storytelling. Okay,
Yeah.
so our mind has evolved to remember stories, and the reason again is because stories have an emotional effect on us,
Yeah.
and our mind and our heart, our whole evolution is all about remembering emotions, not facts and figures. So get better at doing two things to bring it all back. Use ChatGPT to ask better questions and tell better stories. In fact, I'll give you one quick exercise, and
Yes. Please.
I hope this will really help you see the power of AI. Let's say you have a goal. Everybody has a goal. They want to achieve something. Focus on a small goal. Let's say you want to go. Do you want to take your little son on a picnic, or you want to go on a date, or you want to just like close a deal, something small.
Hmm.
Generally, we have a vague idea of what that could be.
Right.
You go to chat gpt and give it a few inputs about what this event or success story will look like, and
Hmm.
ask it to write a very detailed 2000 word story about how it happened in your life. It has already happened. Assume it has already happened. You've already gone on a picnic. Ask ChatGPT to describe in detail what happened in that picnic. What did you eat, what did you play, what did you do, how did you get there, and read that story to yourself every day for the next 7 to 10 days, and you will see a massive shift happen in your mind. And in fact, many people may actually end up getting what they have been desiring.
You just unlocked. Pandora's box, sir. I think that's what you just did. Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay. Does that have like transferable use? Does that have to be a picnic story?
No, anything.
Okay.
The thing about this is, and the way that it interacts with our mind is that our mind is limited. As I said earlier, we have 60,000 thoughts every day. Okay,
Mm,
on average, a human has 60,000 thoughts every day. There is no way we can convert all that into words, even in our thoughts. So the thoughts just is a endless stream of consciousness,
right.
and we are only able to pick up a few thoughts from here and there. And the
Mm,
thing is, our mind needs details. Our mind needs clarity on what we are trying to get or what we are trying to achieve. So with our limited capacity, we are only able to observe a little bit, right? But when you go
right.
to ChatGPT and ask it, you know to grow your business, just write a story about how you signed up 15 clients in a day. What happened, how did it happen, and see what kind of results you get, and let me know.
I absolutely will. I can't wait to do that exercise. Like I love things like that. So I'm literally tickled. I'm so excited. Like I want to see if this is gonna work. But so I want to do a little bit of a pivot because I realize just some of the language that you're using. You seem to be a very spiritual person, not from like the religious sense, but from like the high level meditative. You use the word meditative, like consciousness, like that kind of thing. How has that impacted your business and like how does meditation work for you? Because I'm trying to get more into that, so I'd like to see how that works.
See, it has everything to do with my business and my life experience, because we live life, if before we meditate, or people who don't meditate, we live life, you must have heard this saying, we only use 10% of our mind power, and the
Yes.
rest 90%. So we go through life observing life only 5% of the time. It's like you're driving down a freeway and your windshield is covered with dust or mud or insects, so the visibility is very poor. But as
Hmm.
soon as you switch on the windshield wipers, all that dirt is removed, and now
Hmm.
you can see everything clearly. So
Hmm.
meditation, what that does is it removes all that dust, because every action we take in our life is actually controlled by our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is takes 95% of our decisions. And
Yeah.
then our rational mind, our conscious mind, it logically explains our action and says, oh, I bought this red car because it has good mileage, it has warranty. But I bought the car because I really like the way I will look in that red car. That's the
Sure.
truth,
Yeah.
right? So when you start to meditate, you can start to observe your own thoughts, and you can start to know, okay, what is the origin of this thought? Where did it come from? Why am I doing this? Not only that, but you can also start to observe these patterns in other people. So if you're a business owner, the the magic wand that you can get is to read other people's mind, right? And understand what is happening in their mind.
Yeah.
If you
They're
can,
drivers.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
can, if you can read that as a book, how powerful of a business person you will be. And so
Mm,
when you start to meditate, these things start to become available to you, and now you can start to incorporate that into your business, into your language, into your marketing, into your sales. So it's all about just trying to understand other human beings, right?
yeah. No, that makes sense. So the goal of meditation is not to clear your mind, it's to observe your mind to try to get ahead of it. Is that what I'm
It's the same thing when you get when your mind okay, so let me explain with another analogy, right? So stickers, the ones that you stick, peel off a layer and then you stick it on a surface.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So our mind, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, is like a sticker. So they are both wrapped up in one unit. So when we look at our mind, we say, okay, this is our mind. But with meditation, just like that sticker, our conscious mind and subconscious mind start to separate. Okay. So now my mind can observe the subconscious mind as a separate entity. Okay, so what that does, it helps me get rid of the 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 stuff that I don't need in my mind. I can voluntarily pick up that stuff and say, okay, get rid of this. I don't want to think about this, right? And
Mhm.
now my mind is clear, even though it's not empty. It is clear
Yeah,
of the things that I don't want. And
yeah.
now since I am clear, my purpose is clear, my vision is clear for myself, I can relate better to other people, and and they feel heard and understood as well.
Mm,
Make sense?
yeah. No, that does make plenty of sense. That's so interesting. How long do you meditate a day? Like
20
how much
minutes a day.
time?
20 minutes a
20?
day.
That's it?
That's it.
Interesting. It's so I'm gonna tell you a story.
Mhm.
Not no pun intended.
Yeah.
I went to speaking. I didn't know I was doing this, but as you're saying it, I realized now that there was like that. I guess I was observing. I don't know. I guess I was separating myself from the situation, and then I was able to see her better, and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
influenced by that
Mm-hmm.
situation. So there's one time I had an employee who um who was calling me on a Friday, but there was like it was like a holiday weekend, right? She wasn't on any assignment, so she called me Friday, and I told her, "Hey, I'll call you Tuesday when I get back into the office." I guess that wasn't satisfactory for her, so she called me that Sunday, and I'm on my way somewhere, and then she's calling me and she's yelling, and she's like, "So I had a business partner at that time, right?" So she's calling and she says, she's yelling, literally blowing into the phone, "Long live the business partner's name," right? And I'm just like, and in that moment, I realized I could have felt triggered, but there was like a almost like a I don't know how to explain it, but it was almost like a split second between a
Mm-hmm.
separation between when she started yelling and me watching it from like almost an outsider
Yeah, 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 yeah.
experience. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
and I was able to see that in that moment, she just wanted to be acknowledged.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
She might have thought maybe I was ignoring her, or maybe it was too long between the time that I told her I'd get back to her, and like she wanted whatever it was resolved. And I was just explaining to her, like, like it was a long weekend. There's nothing I could do about it. I'm not even in town. Like, I'm not in the office. The office is closed. Like, there's really nothing I can do about it till Tuesday. Um,
Yeah.
and it was nothing pressing because she wasn't assigned to any client at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it really could have waited, I promise.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I think that was the first time I ever made that distinction. And I think I want to start doing that more intentionally, like being able to like if our brains, if the wall between the like if for example, let's say we are a car, right? And the inside of the car is our subconscious because we're on autopilot, right? We drive and we don't even realize it. And then the outside world is where we're supposed to be conscious. And then the stickers on the windshield. I want to be able to see the sticker more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, meditation, there are many, many types of meditation. So I highly, highly recommend people meditate. In fact, in my opinion, it should be made mandatory in schools.
Interesting.
Mhm.
How okay, so I have a 2-year-old. How would I teach her this concept?
See, a 2-year-old, I believe, maybe too young, but after
Too.
7 or 8,
Mhm.
basically, so there are guided meditations. You can start with that because you can just put on headphones and then let the narrative in that guided
Yeah,
meditation guide you, because it's all about sort of, you know uh, looking at your own thoughts and directing them. So once you
yeah,
get into the habit of doing that, then there is transcendental meditation, there is other types of meditation, whatever appeals to you, whatever you find easy. There are some people, for example, have you heard of a labyrinth? Labyrinth in Christianity, there's something called labyrinth, and you basically walk. It's a round sort of maze, and you walk around the labyrinth multiple times. And what you're doing is you're just walking uh, and sort of introspecting
okay.
your own mind. and that itself, that act is meditation. So
Interesting.
one person I know, he's one of my mentors. He loves motorcycle. He loves racing on motorcycles. And so he tells me that when he races a motorcycle, he's totally disconnected from the world. He's right in his
Mm-hmm.
mind. So for him, that's meditation. So meditation is basically, I don't want to give a misconception to people that, okay, this is the only way to meditate. It's
Yeah.
about connecting with yourself and sort of observing your thoughts. And if somebody has any questions about that, I'm happy to um, recommend some meditations. But as long as you start to meditate and it resonates with you, then that's your method.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna make a note on meditations to follow up with you about that because I'd love to include them in the show notes. Please. Yeah. We spent a good amount of time talking about it. So just in case anyone wants the
Yeah,
resource, that'd be great. Okay, so yeah, so I'm sure that meditation has also helped you gain some like clarity for your own business, like problem solving, kind of being able to detach yourself from the pressure of having to solve a problem. Yes.
exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, last 3 years, I mean, with the pandemic and everything, have been very stressful. A lot of people, for a lot of people, I
Right.
certainly went through a lot of stress myself, and it really helped me to fortify myself going through an experience like that. So,
Mm,
um, as you said, like just staying in the present and saying, okay, I know things are tough, but there is a reason behind it. Let me focus on that reason. What is that reason? This is helping me overcome a challenge. This is helping me become stronger. This is helping
mhm.
me learn a new skill. All of these things, we start to look at life in a very different light.
Yeah.
Everything is there for a reason, and that's a very powerful thing to adopt in your thinking.
Right. No, for sure. That's interesting. We were just talking about that the other day.
Mm,
That's so interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna pivot back into the AI conversation.
yeah.
Thank you for entertaining that. So AI, we mentioned using the storytelling method, asking better questions. What are some questions that we should be asking other than like
Okay.
the storytelling format?
Yeah. Great question. So let's say, I my focus is to expand my business, right?
Mhm.
And let's say I'm serving, as you said, like you're serving first time entrepreneurs, females. They want to build a business.
Right.
Now, some of the questions that you may have in your mind for your clients is, what is something bothering them? You know, are they worried about funding? Are they worried about uh, marketing? Are they worried about hiring? What are they worried about? So,
Mhm.
what you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm running a business which is related to finance. This is my target audience. This is where they live. This is their financial situation. These are the kind of suburbs they live. They generally have these many kids. So give all this information to AI so that AI can
Yeah.
understand what you're talking about. Now you can say, tell me what is bothering them in their day-to-day life. Tell me what is prompting them to start a business. Tell me what are they scared of in terms of starting a new business. Now these are questions you can ask people, but it will take you a lot of time to
Yeah.
ask these questions because you need to build a rapport
Mhm.
before you can get to a point where they will feel comfortable sharing with you what is bothering them.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you that truthfully, right? Even if they feel comfortable, as we have seen, if you send out surveys, we have seen latest elections, the exit polls are never right. The exit polls will be saying one thing and the result will be different. So
Right.
even if people are willing to share information, they're not going to be open and honest about how they truly feel inside. But asking ChatGPT, you can get true sense, all the vulnerabilities, all the emotional baggage that comes with in entrepreneurship, all the
Mhm.
insecurities. You can really get all that from AI. And
Yeah.
now you understand your audience at a much deeper level. That
Mm.
It's not about funding, it's about the risk of failure. It's not about, you know um, asking for money, it's about being rejected.
Yeah.
These are the fears that are holding them back, and how do you
Yeah.
address it uh, at a deeper level, so that you can make them stronger enough so that they can, you know go ask for funding, ask for more money, whatever that is, right?
Yeah. No, I love that you said that because I always tell my clients, like, when we're talking about like problem and solutions, like what problem your business solves for your consumer, I always tell them nobody wants the hammer, they want the nail in the wall.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
so no, that's perfect. That actually like that I never thought to ask ChatGPT questions like that, to frame them in a way where it's asking it to essentially outline the pain points
Yeah.
so that you can create the possibilities are infinite. Like you can create content around it. You can outline marketing campaigns, email campaigns. So yeah, that's really valuable. Um, as far as integrating it into our businesses so that we're like lowering expenses or even making more money, how should we maybe ask better questions in that regard?
Okay. So, see, first and foremost, this is a question that you just asked me. This
Mhm.
question itself can be directed towards AI, right?
You're
Second thing
right.
is, yeah. Second thing is, what we do when we work with business owners, we say, okay, let's analyze your business and find the lowest hanging fruit. Meaning,
Yeah.
what will save you the most money? What will save you the most time or make you the most money? As
Mhm.
business owners, we all have a faint idea. Okay, if I go this direction, if I only get this done, I think I'm going to be able to make this much money, right?
Yeah.
So now you can use AI to start to refine those ideas. You can say,
Mhm.
okay, give me a strategy on how I can, let's say I have 10 clients. I can say, okay, my business is this, I'm coaching, I'm doing this stuff. I have 10 clients. These are sort of the kind of clients I have served. Tell me how to get 10 more clients. Give
Yeah.
me step by step instruction. Tell me, where can I find these clients? How do I
Mhm.
approach them? What do I say to them? All of these things, as I said earlier, if you come across a Harvard graduated MBA with years of experience, and that person is available to you for 2 hours, what will you ask that person?
Right.
Right? And you can
Yeah.
just imagine ChatGPT is that person,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course, wherever you need expert help, you can work with people like my company to provide that extra help. But the first few steps you can take on your own.
Right. So you are more on the development side.
We are both. So we consult with business, we unpack their business. In most cases, we can understand their business better than they can within an hour. And then we can say, okay, I can see a problem here. You don't have any automation in this aspect of your
Mm,
business. So automate this. I'll give you an example. So we were talking to a few real estate agents, and real
mhm.
estate is all about communication, it's all about people. And we found out that 80% of the time these real estate agents were spending on communication, meaning
Mm,
emails, social media posts, SMS texts, whatever, right? So
yeah.
we said that, okay, we can train and a personalized AI to talk in your tone, the way that you talk, the way that you communicate, the way that you converse. And with the help of an assistant, we can bring down your time, that is 80% of your time that is spent on communication, to maybe 20%. And now
Mm,
you are saving 60% of your time to increase your business, to talk to more people, to do whatever. Yeah. Right.
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
is that mostly for industries where communication or like clerical administrative tasks are the predominant task, or can you do that kind of process automation for industries where there might be like other tasks that need to be automated as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. See, AI is a very vast field. So what we have seen in terms of ChatGPT is actually just a language processor, which is primarily used for communication,
Mhm.
administrative tasks. But there are other fields of AI. For example, there is a field called computer vision. Okay, computer vision allows the system, the AI, to see images and videos and live feed just like humans can see. Okay,
Right.
so we can implement that, and I have two patents in this technology as well. So you can deploy that technology, for example, for physical security. You can say,
Mm,
okay, I will watch a secured area through a camera, and
right.
AI can determine, whether this is a friendly person, whether this is a hostile person, whatever it is. I can deploy the same technology to check the quality of some gadgets which are being manufactured in a manufacturing company. So, if there's an assembly line where gadgets are being manufactured, you
Mhm.
have to employ a lot of experienced people who can check each and every gadget and say, okay, there's no crack, there is no scratch
Defect.
here,
Yeah.
whatever. But with the computer vision, you can like do that in microseconds, right? So you
Um,
can just mount a camera on a very high speed assembly line, and it can take very sharp images very very quickly, and then using AI it can say, okay, yeah, this is perfectly matching the specifications, or there's a fault or something along those lines. so
right.
so as you start to dive deeper into this, and based on the project scope and how complicated your situation is, there are many many different fields of AI that can be combined together to create a very impactful solution.
Right. No, for sure. So I applied to a grant maybe September. Okay. September, March. It was March of this year. And I remember one of the questions that they asked, because of the nature of my business, they asked for me to make an argument for hiring people because the nature of my business seeks to eliminate the human error and um, need for humans as a way to lower expenses and like that kind of thing, right? How do you feel about the fact that AI will replace so many people's jobs? And what do you propose for people who are your demeanor changed.
No,
What do
no,
you
no, no.
propose for people who are afraid of this revolution and suggest that they do to embrace this change? Because we're already here. Like, if honestly, if you're not already integrating it, you're already kind of behind, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
so what would you propose to them? Because I feel like learn how to fix machines, right? That's pretty much what that's how my mind is kind of gearing towards things, but it's not that simple because that's a skill and you have to learn. But I feel like a whole group of people are going to be left behind because of this technology. So what would you say to those people who are kind of afraid of this because of that piece?
See, the thing is that AI is not going to replace jobs. A person who understands AI will replace the job. So,
Mhm.
meaning if you are willing to upscale and embrace this technology, the opportunities that will open up are immense. Okay.
Yeah,
This is the biggest wealth transfer that humans have ever witnessed. So,
yeah,
what does that mean? The CEO of IBM, and he's a very, very knowledgeable CEO of IBM, has said that uh, AI will add about $10 trillion to the world economy by
yeah.
2030. Okay.
Wow.
So, just to put it in context, right now, the world economy is about $80 trillion. Okay. So
Mm,
12.5% of the world economy will be added in the next 7 years. And I
right.
think he's underestimating, right?
Yeah.
I think it's much more. So that's the magnitude of opportunity. So if you
Mm,
want to stay away and be afraid and trust the misinformation, then it's up to you. But if you want to embrace it, then I will share a few ideas where it'll help you put it in perspective. So
please.
before the internet came along, there was no such job as a web developer. There was
Mm,
no such job as search engine optimization engineer. There was no such job as video editor for online videos,
mhm.
social media management. All these opportunities came along because the new technology provided a platform for better jobs,
Right.
right? So if you embrace the technology, you will find that you will you will be pulled into new types of jobs which are more enjoyable,
Right.
where which are more meaningful, impactful.
Right. Yeah.
And for example, I'll give you an example. I was talking to a neurosurgeon, and
I'm I'm sorry. One second, please.
uh,
Sorry about that. That was my toddler crying for me. Please.
no worries, no worries. I have two young boys as well. I understand. Um, so I was talking to a neurosurgeon, and he told me that for every hour they spend with the patient, they have to spend 2 hours entering data into hospital systems.
Mm,
So now you can imagine if AI is able to do that job, how much time it will save. It's similar example to the real estate group of people that I talked about, where we were able to save 60% of their time with communication. So
right.
the idea is that if you embrace it, you will start to see the benefits, and you will start to find new avenues to apply your skills, find better jobs, find bigger businesses, more opportunities. So that's my message.
Okay. I agree. I agree with you. I just don't. People don't want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Sometimes they want to hear it from other people's mouths. So I'm glad you're the one that said it. You're the professional. So I agree with you 100%. Learn how to build machines or align with jobs that are congruent, right? So what are some job titles that we should be looking for? What are some skills that we should be building and learning that will help us to position ourselves to kind of capture some of this new wealth that's being developed?
See, I believe
Is
that,
prompt engineering one of them? Sorry, is prompt
yeah,
engineering one of them?
it's prompt engineering is one of them.
Mhm.
And if you break down, I already said this, prompt engineering is nothing else but asking the right questions.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so my in my opinion, today what you can do is sign up for ChatGPT, start asking questions, and then bring that skill to your real life. You can start asking your whatever you are doing today, whether you are whether you are running a business, whether you are a server at a restaurant, whether you are a hairstylist, whether you are a CEO of a company, whether you are a vice president of sales, whatever you are doing right now, you can start to ask questions about how can I make this better?
Better. Yeah.
How can I serve my employer better? How can I serve my clients better? How can I connect with other human beings better? You can start to do that right now, today, and you
Mhm.
will become an AI augmented human being today.
Mm. I like that. Any specific things though? I know people are gonna be looking for specific. So like any
Yeah.
specific job titles that you just want to shoot out, like things that people should be could like explore or look into. I'm not saying like this is not hard and fast suggestions, like go
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
I know prompt engineering is one of the ones where you're learning to ask AI the good questions, which is great. But like, what job title should we actually be exploring that will help us to be better AI augmented human beings?
Okay. So let's think about AI augmented customer service representative, where I believe chatbots will become more smarter and smarter. But I believe there's going to be a point where we will provide an option to say, do you want to talk to an AI powered chatbot, or you want to talk to AI augmented human being? And so the
Mm,
human being will have access to AI to be able to answer the questions quickly, but the human being also will have the sense and emotional intelligence to empathize with your problems, to listen to you. So
this makes
one thing I will say universally, what will happen is, because our cognitive abilities will not be at a premium anymore, because the machines can do the thinking, our emotional side will become more valuable. Okay,
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
ability to listen, the ability to empathize, the ability to relate to other people,
Mhm.
if you start to develop that, it will be invaluable to you in any job title, anything that you do, because that will be valued much, much more in this new era, right? um,
Yes.
so like whatever job title you can think of, um, empathetic financial advisor, an empathetic tax planner, and empathetic. So empathy will rule the world,
Yeah.
and AI will augment your thinking. You
Hmm.
know, so I know I am not giving you very specifics,
No,
but
it's okay.
I'm trying to paint a picture of what the future looks like, right?
Yeah. No, it's fine. I get it. I hope I'm it wasn't for me, it's for my audience. I know them, so and I empathize with them because they're very like they have very practical minds.
Yeah,
So I tried to give them very tactical things that they would like, okay, I can go and look into this. I can do this, right?
yeah.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah, my
okay.
audience has very like practical minds. They like things that they can like, get their hands on, look into, dig really deep and like do deep research on. So it's more for them than me because I understand this from a very high level, right? I'm in the AI space. We're looking to build an alternative lending platform that integrates AI. So I understand it. I joke a lot. And I love that you talked about empathy because um I joke a lot about not being a financial strategist, but actually being a therapist. I'm not a licensed
Mm-hmm.
in any way, shape, or form, but I joke about
Mm-hmm.
it a lot because
Yeah, yeah.
dealing with people's finances is a very sensitive topic, and people come with their
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They project a lot of their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to have a level of empathy to do good work in that space. Um,
Absolutely.
so and serve the best, I believe. So I love that you mentioned that as well because I do agree that the people who are going to thrive in the future are the ones that can see people past themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
awesome. So Manoj, how do we get in hold of you, and what who should reach out to you and for what? Um, and how do you think you'll best serve our like people in our audience?
Yeah. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, search for my name, Manuj Aggarwal, or manuj.ca is a web page where all my social connections are there. So my
Mhm.
first name.ca, or find me on LinkedIn, or you
Yeah,
can go to my website, manujagarwal.com. Who I want to connect with is innovators, people who are risk takers, because this is a transition phase where people who can think forward
yeah,
and say, okay, this is what I want to do. So if you have a plan to implement AI in your business, you want to build something with technology,
mhm,
modernize your business,
mhm,
and you are not afraid to take risks,
yeah,
because it's an adventure to go on this new journey with AI. So those are the kind of people we are looking for, and we help them clarify their vision, figure out a project plan, implement the technology, get massive ROI. We generally see 5x 500% to 1,000% ROI on anything that people invest
that's
in
awesome.
terms of technology. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Manuj. I'm going to be sure to leave all of your information in the show notes. So if anyone wants to reach out to Manuj, please do. AI is the future. It's not the future. It's already here. We're in the future. If you're not here with us, you're already behind. So thank you again for coming on. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for such a valuable 51 minutes. Like I learned so much. I'm so happy that we got to connect, and I'm sure we'll be working together. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Manuj.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks.